Good evening and thank you for joining us on News 360 live from Adesawe, Kanda in Accra. I am Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Martin Asiedu. Dartey. Here are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
President John Dramani Mahama says government and the NDC holds no animosity against the judiciary despite its criticisms in recent past.
The National Association of Graduate Teachers demand immediate dismissal of Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Smile GC.
Also coming up, we explore the rampant use of Red 225, a powerful painkiller turned street drug.
And also coming up, Mobile Money Agents Association project 20% increase in transaction as Parliament scraps the e-levy, awaiting presidential assent.
On the international front, journalist who was mistakenly added to a high-level chat group in the US publishes full exchange of real-time messages sent on the app. We're live on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, all across the world, on 3news.com.
Let's get into the details of our stories now. And President John Dramani Mahama says his government of the National Democratic Congress holds no animosity against the judiciary despite its criticism in recent past. Then candidate John Mahama is on record to have called out the past administration of packing the courts with party affiliates that will engender the rule of law. At a meeting with the Ghana Bar Association, the president says this government is willing to work with the bar and ensure that there is rule of law and justice.
I believe that it is not anecdotal. I mean, several surveys asking Ghanaians, what their opinion of the judiciary is, have not come out positively. And I believe that it is a duty for all of us to work to make sure that we have a judiciary that is respected. Year in, year out, you hear 12 billion cedis misappropriated, 15 billion cedis misappropriated. And how we deal with these cases are very difficult because of the constitutional procedure, parliamentary accounts committee and all that. But after that has happened, we must have a fast-track court where we're able to deal with this so that we deter people from just misusing government funds like that. Government is open to working with you, particularly on our side of the political divide. There's this perception that we have a problem with the legal fraternity and things like that. I think that if you look at the kind of people, Marietta and all of us sitting here, we're not people who have any such animosity towards the judiciary and the legal fraternity. So our doors are open, our hands are open, and if you think that there's anything that you should bring to our attention, don't hesitate at all.
In response, President of the Ghana Bar Association, Dartey, says the bar is ready to ensure the rule of law prevails in all circumstances.
Mr. President, as a country and as a bar, we are guided by the rule of law. And in all things, we are eager to ensure total obedience to the rule of law in ensuring that justice is duly served. Mr. President, in our environmental matters, in our security issues, in other things that affect the nation, Mr. President, the bar is willing to assist in any way necessary to ensure that we did indeed have the rule of law operational, and not just as a cliche, but it is felt.
Chief Justice Gertrude Sabai Saki Tokonu may just be the first person to be removed from office in the Fourth Republic if 3 petitions forwarded to the President is successful. As required by law, President Mahama has sought the advice of the Council of State, which also has a former CJ as a member, to establish whether the petitions have any merit. My colleague Lord Edwasari explores how CJs have fared regarding petitions to have them removed.
This will be the second time a petition has been made for the removal of Gertrude Saki Tokonu as Chief Justice, albeit the 4th petition. In December last year, paralegal practitioner Professor Kweku Asari petitioned President Akufo-Addo for the removal of the CJ, citing allegations of misbehavior and incompetence in carrying out her administrative duties. After 21 days, the President dismissed petition, indicating that there was no proven reason to remove her. Chief Justice Tokonu is not the only one whose position has been under scrutiny. In 2002, a petition to remove Edward Kwame Redu as Chief Justice was filed by Francis Janku for deceiving Parliament about his date of birth in order to extend his tenure. The petition was unsuccessful. President Kufuor was petitioned to remove Chief Justice George Kingsley Akwa by Bright Akwete, citing abuse of office. According to the petitioner, the then CJ allegedly victimized judges and instructed them on how to rule on some cases. After going through scrutiny, however, the petition also failed. During her tenure, former CJ Georgina Theodora Wood was subject to 2 petitions to have her removed. She was cited for alleged unfair handling of land cases related to the Gandangbe indigents and another for misbehavior and incompetence. Both petitions were dismissed. In November 2018, Director of Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, ASEPA, Mensa Thompson, petitioned President Akufo-Addo to remove Chief Justice Sofa Akufu on grounds of incompetence. That petition also failed. Chief Justice Kwesini Yeboah became subject of a petition for his removal after the petitioner, Mensa Thompson, cited him for alleged $5 million bribery. The petition was dismissed after no prima facie was established. Per Article 146 of the Constitution, upon receipt of the petition, the President has the mandate to forward them to the Council of State for consultation and dissemination on whether there's a case against the Chief Justice. A committee made up of 2 justices of the Supreme Court and 3 other persons not members of the Council will then inquire the petition and forward recommendations to the President, who is bound by those recommendations. Lord Idasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And a lot of conversation has gone on since the news broke that 3 petitions have been sent to President Mahama to seek to remove Chief Justice Madam Gertrude Tokonu. So what exactly is in the law? Let's take you briefly through what is captured per the Constitution. So, and procedurally, when the President is petitioned, the President forwards that petition to the Council of State to determine whether there is a prima facie case, meaning whether there is actually a cause for concern about the Chief Justice. If there is no cause for concern or no prima facie case established, then the petition is dismissed. However, if a prima facie case is established, a committee is immediately put together, and that committee is made up of 2 Supreme Court justices and 3 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. So it could be just any regular Ghanaian, and then they will be part of that committee, and they will have to probe the case. If they do probe the case and find legitimate reason why the Chief Justice is to be removed, they make a recommendation to the President. And like you see in the last line on your screen, the President is bound by the recommendations of the committee to undertake the removal. And so in Article 146(10), it says when a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may, in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. So it's one of the key issues we are looking at. And if you go down memory lane or throughout Ghana's history since our independence, only one Chief Justice has been removed. And actually, he was not removed based on a petition. That is Sir Akukosa. He was actually sacked by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president. But in the Fourth Republic, since 1992, petitions have been filed against almost all the Chief Justices, but none has been successful. So no Chief Justice has been sacked out of office as a result of a petition. But we'll see how all of this unfolds in the coming days.
And now to one of the topical issues of the day. Parliament has passed the Electronic Transfer Levy Bill 2025 to abolish the controversial e-levy, which previously taxed electronic financial transactions. Also, taxes on bet winnings, gaming and lotteries, as well as the emissions levy, have also been abolished. Here's a report.
The e-levy, which was initially introduced at 1.75% before being revised to 1%, imposed taxes on electronic transactions, including mobile money payments, bank transfers, and inward remittances. It faced huge backlash and opposition from the public, who described it as a burden. Parliament on Wednesday passed laws to abolish it, pending presidential assent.
The deduction will no longer take place, and government will lose close to 2 billion Ghana cedis. But the 2 billion Ghana cedis that government is going to lose will now come to Ghanaians. So in effect, individual Ghanaians who ordinarily would have lost 2 billion Ghana cedis will now retain their 2 billion Ghana cedis. And government that would have gained 2 billion Ghana cedis by way of deductions from Momo transfers, government will lose the 2 billion Ghana cedis.
Mr. Speaker, we were told that the fiscal impact of this singular repeal will amount to 1.946 billion for the fiscal year 2025. Mr. Speaker, the committee deliberated on this matter and came to the conclusion by a unanimous decision of the committee that this should be recommended to the House for the repeal to proceed.
Some minority MPs backed the move but shared reservations.
The reason for repeal is to ensure that there is availability of additional disposable income to households and to reduce the tax burden on individuals. Mr. Speaker, if this is the reason why we are repealing the e-levy, then e-levy is 1%. Why don't we go and repeal VAT, which is about 17%, if we are looking at ensuring that there's disposable income for citizens?
Honourable members, the motion is adopted. The Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025 is now read the third time. The question is, those in favour say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it.
Taxes on bet winnings, gaming and lotteries, as contained in the Income Tax Amendment Bill, were also abolished, but not without a debate. The Revenue Administration, Emissions Levy and Value-Added Tax Bills were all passed, pending assent by the President.
So let's bring you some of the taxes that have been repealed and amended by Parliament. The Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill 2025, the Emissions Levy Repeal Bill 2025. They have been repealed and are waiting for the President's assent on it. And then we have the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025, the Revenue Administration Amendment Bill 2025. Those two have been amended. We have Christian Yale, my colleague in Parliament. He is watching as more bills have been repealed, and he will bring us more in subsequent bulletins. So as we move on.
Now, former Minister for Railway Development, John Peter Amewu, was invited for questioning by the National Security Operatives on Tuesday, the 25th of March, 2025. He was released the same day after questioning. John Peter Amewu's questioning is linked to the $2 million SkyTrain project. According to our sources, the former appointee's detention was part of ongoing investigations into the failed initiative. And on your screens, you can see what the SkyTrain would have looked like, but we're told that not even feasibility studies were done before the payment was, or that transaction was paid for. The SkyTrain project, which had $2 million allegedly allocated for it, has been confirmed by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, to have not met its objectives. Dr. Ayine addressed the issue to the press on Monday, the 24th of March, and during that briefing, he also stated that the prosecutions relating to the SkyTrain scandal are expected to begin by mid-April 2025. He reassured the public that suspects are cooperating with investigations and that efforts are being made to recover any misappropriated funds, public funds. John Peter Mewu has since returned to his residence, according to his personal assistant. So that's news just coming in regarding the SkyTrain, the botched SkyTrain, where $2 million has been sent and spent, but no work done for it.
Let's now turn our attention to education. The National Association of Graduate Teachers has demanded the immediate dismissal of Professor Smile Gysi, Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service. At a press conference, NAGRAT argued that Professor Smile Gysi lacks the necessary qualifications and experience in pre-tertiary education to hold such a critical position.
In 2024, President Akufo-Addo appointed Dr. Eric Nkansa as the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, a move that sparked outrage among pre-tertiary teacher unions. These unions criticized Dr. Nkansa, accusing him of lacking the necessary competence to lead the GES. Despite their concerns, no action was taken until the National Labour Commission intervened to address the issue. The Commission directed the concerned teacher unions to work towards formulating a service scheme for the GES. Despite the turmoil, Dr. Nkansa remained in office until his departure earlier this year. Currently, CLOGSAC is also on strike, demanding the removal of Samuel Botwi, the head of the Births and Deaths Registry. Their strike, now lasting over a month, shows no signs of resolution. The latest group to join the growing calls for leadership changes is NAGRAT. NAGRAT is calling for the removal of Professor Smile Gysi, the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service and also a former rector of Koforidua Technical University. According to NAGRAT, President Njo Kabonu, Professor Gysi lacks the competence required for the role.
NAGRAT raised its objection to the appointment of Professor Smile Gysi as the Deputy Director of the Ghana Education Service on grounds that Professor Gysi is not a professional teacher and therefore have not gone through the ranks of the Ghana Education Service to warrant appointment to the position of Deputy Director General Management Services. Our information about Professor Gysi is that she was once a rector of the Koforidua Technical University and was removed due to certain developments. Those issues, we don't think it is necessary to go through them.
And Kabonu also requested a meeting with President Mahama to resolve the ongoing impasse.
To occupy and head these institutions. As a result, we call on the government to look within Ghana Education Service, to look within public service, to look within the civil service in appointing people to head the various established agencies.
Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of CLOGSAC, Isaac Bampuado, has also urged President Mahama to ensure the effective implementation of his resetting agenda.
The manifesto was reset Ghana, and massively Ghanaians voted for resetting Ghana. And as part of the resetting, we said that, look, go according to what the Constitution is saying. These services must be neutral, and that's what we are asking for. And these issues we're talking about, accountability, corruption, I think this is where it starts from. Because if people who are being promoted or appointed to certain positions that they don't have the capacity, what will be the end result?
Now, if you're concerned about the youth of the country, you need to pay attention to this story. A silent crisis is spreading like wildfire. The rampant abuse of Red 225, a powerful painkiller that has now turned into a street drug. Once prescribed for severe pain, it has now become a cheap escape for struggling youth, trapping them in a cycle of addiction. Asiedu reports.
A silent epidemic is taking hold in Ghana, one that is numbing the future of the nation. The abuse of Red 225, a powerful painkiller originally meant for severe medical conditions, has spiraled into a full-blown addiction crisis, gripping young people in its deadly embrace. For many, Red 225 is more than just a drug. It is an escape from the harsh realities of life. In communities where unemployment, poverty and despair are daily battles, the drug offers a temporary high, a brief moment of detachment from pain and hopelessness. But the cost is devastating. A stroll through Ghana's ghettos paints a haunting picture. Young men and women, once filled with potential, now stand motionless for hours, a living testament of the drug's power. Families watch helplessly as their children slip into a cycle of addiction, unable to break free. Experts warn that Red 225 was never meant for recreational use. When abused, it can lead to respiratory failure, heart complications, severe mental disorders, and even death. Health professionals are already seeing an increase in emergency cases linked to the drug, stretching an already burdened healthcare system.
In recent years, studies have highlighted a tramadol crisis in the sub-region, characterized by an alarming use of drug among the youthful population, often linked to physical, psychological, and economic hardship.
Beyond the health implications, the addiction crisis is tearing apart communities. The desperate need for the drug pushes users into crime, fueling theft, violence, and other illegal activities. The government cannot afford to look away. Authorities are tightening regulations in the sale and distribution of Red 225. The Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment has pledged to take action.
It is scary. We cannot sit aloof, we cannot sit idle. This is not business as usual, because the basic survival of this country is endangered with young people abusing drugs. And because drugs are expensive, if they don't have the money to buy, they must find the money to buy. The human resource of every country is the most important resource, and the youth of this country is our biggest resource. That is why, as a ministry, we've taken on the challenge to address this canker head on.
We must block the channel to which this deception keeps getting in the minds of our youth. It's simply about over-impression.
But will this be enough? Ghana stands at a crossroads. Without swift and decisive action, an entire generation risks being swallowed by addiction. The time to act is now. Asiedu, TV3.
In some more news this evening, owners of affected vehicles that got damaged as a result of the Tuesday rainstorm are to fix their vehicles and present invoices for onward payments by insurers of the A and C shopping mall. More than 20 vehicles were destroyed when the solar panel structure at the car park collapsed on the vehicles.
The debris had been almost cleared when the news team arrived at the scene. This will obviously cause the insurers of the A&C shopping mall. Exotic vehicles including Range Rovers, Ram 1500, Mercedes, Dodge were not spared. Insurers took details of owners of the vehicles to commence restoration processes of these vehicles. But they are expected to bring reasonable invoices to get paid. NADMO officials were present to receive first-hand information. Almost every part of the capital had a fair share of the devastation of the rainstorm. Even massive billboards came down. The timely intervention of residents prevented a rider of a motorcycle from being carried by the rains. Trees were uprooted by the high winds of Tuesday's rainstorm. This Honda vehicle was severely damaged by the devastation. These are obviously sending signals to get things right with the onset of the rains. But the question remains, how prepared are city authorities? George Quinnin, TV3 News, Accra.
And it looks as though many were taken by surprise following yesterday's downpour. And the other interesting aspect of it was how a rainfall that lasted a period of just about 30 minutes could cause so much havoc. We'll try and get to the Ghana Meteorological Agency to find out whether or not in the coming days we should expect more rains and what type of rains should we be expecting. And now globally, there are concerns about climate change and its attendant impacts across the world. But here in Ghana, what are the authorities aware of, and how should we be preparing for the onset of the rains? If you also were affected, especially by yesterday's rains, do let us know in the comment section, and then hopefully we'll let the rest of the world know about it. But if we are able to get that connection to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, we'll find out from them. So it also helps you to prepare in the coming days as to how to move around and what kind of necessities you need to take along as you step out of your home. So I'm told that we've got that connection to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, and with Madam Felicity Hafianyo has joined us for a quick conversation on this. Madam, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Right. To start with, I'm sure you've also had calls regarding yesterday's rains that, from all indications, caused quite some havoc. Was it expected? Did the Ghana Meteo anticipate yesterday's rain?
Good evening to your dear viewers and listeners. Yes, Ghana Meteorological Agency, we have anticipated the system that has affected the Greater Accra and some other parts of the country. To start with, we've released the seasonal forecast for the southern sector, which we indicated that the rains will start from 4th week of February all the way to the 2nd week of April across the southern sector. Some areas the rains will start from 4th week of February. Some areas it will start in the 3rd week of March. Others it will be the 4th week of March, and then some areas 1st week or 2nd week of April. So we've brought this information out that this is how it's going to be for the southern sector. So then we have this short-range forecast that has to do with the daily forecast. And then we have the weekly, and then we have every 3 days forecast where we calculate midweek and then weekend. And per our weekly forecast on Monday, we indicated that there will be some rain and thunder over some portions over the southern sector with varying intensities. So if we have anticipated, yes, the documents are there, we can pick it and then have a look at it.
What type of rain fell yesterday? Just indulge my curiosity, because the images we are seeing, this is rain that fell for a short period, less than an hour, but was able to bend metal, uproot trees, and cause so much havoc. What was it that was in the rains yesterday, if you know about, technically?
The rains that we experienced yesterday could be tagged deep convective system that has developed and then affected, and mostly it comes with moderate winds or strong winds. It comes with thunderstorms and lightning, and that's the nature of the type of rains that we will be experiencing from now on to somewhere May and then early part of June. It will come, and then it will be sudden. The intensity will be great. It's likely some may have around 20 millimeters, 50 millimeters per hour, which is likely to cause some floods over some areas because of the volume of the water that is coming out of it.
Right, and finally, before you go, It rained today as well in some parts of Accra, but the intensity wasn't as that of yesterday. So are you able to give us an idea what to expect and the intensity of the rains in the coming days? And are you able to tell?
Yes, we are able to tell because now for the daily forecast, we release it 3 times in the day. We have the morning that comes out as early as 5 a.m. We have the afternoon that comes as early as 11 a.m. And then we have the evening forecast that comes at early as 5 p.m. And today, Wednesday, we release another weather forecast that takes care of the midweek. So this evening, tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday. So for this evening, we are anticipating that those along the coastal strip, parts of Volta region, those around Ashanti region, part of Eastern region are earmarked for some rain. And in terms of the intensity or the impact, we are looking at between low and medium intensity. And then currently we have some system that is moving in. Portion is over the ocean and the portion is over the inland areas over the Volta region. So if you have someone in the Volta region, they can attest to it that currently the place is very cloudy and then some areas may also be experiencing the rain. So rain is still in the forecast. Tomorrow, Thursday, some areas are also likely to have some rain and thunder activities. Then on Friday to the same thing. Saturday, Sunday to some other portions will get. So for the details, we need to get to GMET through our social media handles, through our website, so that you get to know if it will rain in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, or maybe Kumasi or Akimoda, Abetifi, and its environs. So this is the time that Ghanaians should get closer to GMET and get the forecast and then get themselves ready. I did a travel from Cape Coast towards Accra. There was rain around the Kasua Strait and it has really caused a lot of damages over there. The traffic has been so terrible because of the flash floodings that it has caused, or the run of waters that has come out of the rain cloud that has engulfed that area.
Madam, thank you so much for making time to speak with us, and hopefully in the coming days we'll continue to engage the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So follow TV3's handles or the Ghana Meteo social media handles for regular updates of what to expect in terms of the weather.
President John Dramani Mahama is set to launch National Sanitation Day on April 2 as part of the NDC's manifesto promise. The initiative aims to promote cleaner communities through structured competitions and local participation. This was announced by the Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs.
National Sanitation Day was promised by His Excellency the President, and it's one of the manifesto things that will have to be delivered. And it is going to be National Sanitation Day and National Sanitation League. So clearly, on the 2nd of April, which will be next Wednesday, it will be launched by His Excellency the President at Manche Agbona Park. Then on Saturday, April 5th, then the exercise will start nationwide. After that, there will be National Sanitation League. No so soon, the DCs are going to be mentioned. They finished the first batch, is with the President, and I know the second report will go and the third report will go. And once that is done, there will be a National District Sanitation League and a Regional Sanitation League. We are not going to joke with the sanitation issue, and it's going to be a kind of competition. If you are last this time, and next month too you are last, next 2 months you are last, then you can imagine whether you are fit for purpose or you don't fit to be there. And it is not just going to be naming and shaming. We are all going to be at work.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment, all coming up.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, Mobile Money Agents Association has projected 20% increase in transactions as Parliament scraps e-levy awaiting presidential assent. This legislative action follows the proposal made by Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Atoforsen in the 2025 budget and economic statement presented earlier in March.
The e-levy, which imposed a 1% charge on electronic transactions, faced significant public opposition and was criticized for hindering digital financial inclusion. In his budget presentation, Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Atoforsen emphasized the government's commitment to alleviating the financial burden on citizens by removing what he termed nuisance taxes. To offset the revenue shortfall from the repeal of the e-levy and other taxes, the government plans to reduce the tax refund ceiling from 6% to 4%, a measure projected to generate approximately 3.8 billion cedis. This amount is expected to cover the losses from the e-levy of 1.9 billion cedis and the betting tax of approximately 180 million cedis. Experts suggest that improving tax compliance, broadening the tax base, and boosting key revenue sectors such as manufacturing and exports could help mitigate potential fiscal risks. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the digital finance space anticipate a resurgence in mobile money transactions and e-commerce activities following the repeal.
We are expecting not less than 20% of uptake in terms of the volumes and the transactions. You know, even in the presence of e-levy, we have seen that there has been a marginal growth.
The Advertising Association of Ghana is calling for the passage of the advertising bill to regulate activities within the sector. Executive Director of the association, Ayisha, highlights the frequent collapse of billboards across the country can be attributed to a lack of effective regulation.
The recorded cases which occurred on the night of March 25 in Accra affected several businesses, disrupting power supply in some cases.
Was I then was through?
We were shocked of the collapse of this particular billboard. It's only a miracle that no one was hit.
But because of light issue, me charging me phones. And I mean, so me momo obi to me in the phone, but now I say wanya low battery or pursue yiska.
It's almost 10 a.m. and I'm yet to start work because there's no power.
I don't know how it will go.
According to the Advertising Association, over 70% of outdoor advertisers operate without regulatory oversight, contributing to the alarming rate of billboard collapses.
A billboard has fallen at the Accra Mall. We have been fighting the assembly to remove that billboard for over a year now. They will remove it and then we'll see it erected again. We have told them to get the owner to remove it. They didn't comply. And now look at what the mess has created.
The association emphasized that the country is losing significant tax revenue, hence the need to tackle the challenge head on.
There are many practitioners in the industry that are not known by GRA. We're not paying any tax. We're not paying anything. Now, if we have the council or the advertising council established with the trade ministry, it's not going to sit with us. We propose the bill, but it's going to be owned by government. If the trade ministry pushes for it, it will sit with the trade ministry. Now, you regulate every practitioner. Before you practice advertising in this country, you must have a license. So if you erect a billboard, we must know you.
Fidelity Bank Ghana, one of the leading Ghanaian financial institutions, has consistently championed support for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, aligning with Ghana's broader economic development goals. At a media engagement to enhance the financial literacy for media personnel, management said they are committed to ensuring the Ghanaian economy grows.
Over the years, Fidelity Bank has earned accolades for innovation, including pioneering digital banking solutions. Currently, the bank operates in over 80 branches nationwide. Through the Fidelity Young Entrepreneurs Initiative, the bank has empowered countless startups and existing businesses with competitive financing at a 10% interest rate, coupled with mentorship, technical support, and access to market programs. Speaking at the media engagement, the managing director for Fidelity Bank Ghana, Julian Opuni, said the bank has over the years been supporting small and medium-sized enterprises to grow the economy. He said the bank has rolled out a series of policies that will support the youth, women in SMEs and creatives in the country.
Youth is of keen interest to us as Fidelity. Years ago, we launched our Fidelity Young Entrepreneurs Fund, where at the time we put a pilot fund of 10 million cedis together to try and assist young people from age 18 to 40 who have business ideas. So we're touching people who just have an idea, and we help them, we train them, and we assist them to develop the idea. The people who have the idea, they just need to make it a bit more solid. We support those as well. And then those who have a business that is running maybe 2-3 years and is showing promise, we've supported them.
Julian Opuni also noted that a lot of work has been put into their digital banking, which aims at making banking easy for everyone.
One of the key areas we're looking at is our digital drive, ensuring that we are bringing not just banking to the doorstep of our customers and potential customers. It's actually more around enhancing the ability for people to improve self-help and the ability to get access to their finances in a seamless and meet them in as many places as possible.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Managing Director, Operations and Support Functions, Arthur Yabuajan, assured the general public of their adherence to the Bank of Ghana regulations.
Banking is regulated. When you are onboarding any client, whether it's a public agency, state agency, or private company or an individual, the Bank of Ghana has spelled out what you need to look out for before you open the account. And we are a highly compliant institution and we are following those steps. In reality, we just have to ensure that for every account we onboard, we follow the lay-down processes and requirements as prescribed by the Bank of Ghana.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
While many retired footballers transition into coaching, punditry or administration, former Black Stars midfielder Rabiu Mohammed has chosen a different path, and that's agriculture. The 35-year-old, known for his tenacity in the midfield, retired from football in 2020 after suffering a serious knee injury and now dedicates his time to cocoa farming. My colleague Emmanuel Owusu tells the story.
Since the 19th century, cocoa has been one of the most important crops in Ghana. Farmers produce tons of cocoa each year, making Ghana the second largest exporter of the product in the world. For those involved in cocoa production, it is a rewarding business venture. But for former Ghana midfielder Rabiu Mohammed, it is family heritage. His great-grandfather was a popular cocoa farmer in Konongo in the 20th century and passed his knowledge down the family tree. In his youth, Mohammed joined his parents at the farm and played football in his free time. As the days passed, the combative midfielder focused heavily on football.
Every Saturday, I was going to the farm on Saturdays before playing football, so I had the passion for it.
Rabiu enjoyed a professional football career spanning over 12 years, during which he played for 9 clubs. His crowning achievement came in 2009 when he helped the Ghana Under-20 team, the Black Satellites, secure a historic FIFA Under-20 World Cup victory, the first by an African nation. He went on to earn over 30 caps for the senior national team, representing Ghana at the Africa Cup of Nations and the FIFA World Cup. Unfortunately, his career was abruptly cut short in 2020 due to an ACL injury that forced him into early retirement. Unlike his illustrious teammates such as Michael Essien, Stephen Appiah, and Asamoah Gyan, who transitioned into coaching, administration, or punditry, a 35-year-old returned to the family business. He devotes his time to his farm located in Krofa, near the Konongo Odumasi Road.
Football a lot of stress in the idea. I felt that if football would give me a lot of stress, the farmland will be a place where I can find some peace. My age mates were surprised that I chose farming after football.
Joseph Doe, Rabiu's elder brother, has been instrumental in encouraging Rabiu's foray into farming and has diligently managed the crops during his absence. Doe expressed his immense pride and delight at witnessing the remarkable growth and expansion of their farm.
People were watching us when we started. They wanted to know how it was going, so I'm happy that we are achieving what we wanted to achieve.
Rabiu is not only nurturing his passion for cocoa farming, but also giving back to his community in meaningful ways. He leads a dedicated team working tirelessly to raise funds for building a football pitch in Konongo Odumasi, a place where his love for the sport first blossomed. The community is filled with excitement as they witness Rabiu's new endeavors, and they eagerly anticipate the positive impact this project will have once completed.
Different direction.
Someone else would have ignored his parents' advice and teachings, but Rabiu realized that farming is helping him and his community. It's helping the constituencies in Asante Achim.
At least it will help Ghana also, because food and stuff, we have to import a lot of food into the country. But if we too started farming a little bit to help, definitely food will be available in the country.
In a few years to come, Rabiu Mohammed hopes to become one of the leading farmers in Ghana as he competes for national awards. His post-football journey reflects a unique and inspiring transition from the pitch to agriculture, demonstrating his resilience and commitment to building a new legacy beyond the game.
Well, very inspiring story there from Rabiu Mohammed. And that's how you wrap up the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Oriku Ampofo. After the break, we have entertainment news.
Well, good evening. Let's do some entertainment news updates here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, British Guinean actor Idris Elba has urged creators not to compromise on standards within the industry. During a recent interaction with students and key industry figures, Elba emphasized the importance of maintaining high-quality work. He also highlighted significant infrastructure projects aimed at boosting the African film industry.
You know, I want people to come forward.
British actor and filmmaker Idris Elba has returned to Ghana following his appearance at the 2024 Africa Cinema Summit. Elba's visit marks a pivotal moment in Ghana's efforts to establish itself as a global force in film production. His dedication to fostering creative talent and preserving cultural heritage through storytelling aligns with his broader mission to elevate the African film industry. In a recent interaction with students and industry professionals, Elba stressed the importance of maintaining high standards in creative work.
One of the things that's really important for African creators, and all creators, is to be good. Don't put something out that you're not proud of. Not to say don't experiment. Please experiment. It's good to experiment. But don't present something that you know you could be better. We can't make something that looks like a Hollywood film. So therefore, we're okay with accepting less. What we need to try and do is trying to perfect our work as much as possible to offer something that is as good as it can absolutely be. But everything from the presentation to the delivery to the credits to the music, everything should be done at the highest level.
Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
And that's it from us as well. You can find more news on 3news.com. My name is Ayisha Yakubu.
And I am Martin Asiedu. Dartey. Bye for now.